Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included. Today I have a whole list to go through, mostly suggestions from the comments section, and so I would say we get right to it. First things first, most importantly, I put some wallpaper here as well, and then I moved the kill chamber down in the center. This required us to have an additional conveyor loader, but at least it feels somewhat more pleasing to the eye. We now have all these stone hatchling eggs in here, so we'll be getting some eggshells and probably plenty of meat from that. Another improvement we can make is up here. The decontamination shower apparently doesn't really work the way I thought it would. So what we're gonna do is cut this off. I'm gonna empty these pipes and we're gonna deconstruct the shower. I have something we can build here that is gonna be much better. That means we can also get rid of this pump, these pipes, and the chute. Namely, there's one machine missing that would actually fit into this module, and I just totally overlooked it. Namely, the artifact analysis station. This is going to require 4 tiles, which technically makes it possible for us to place it. There it is, the artifact analysis station. Thankfully, we also got that one in the joint, so maybe it wasn't for the worst. The decontamination shower works a little bit differently. We'll still be finding a good use for it, I'm pretty sure. I think we already brought an artifact. Yeah, there. The office mark has been brought to the station. And that was probably what we gathered from space. And then there is another artifact right here that I just discovered excavating the world. Right now it is on a pedestal, but we can remove it and then hopefully it's also going to be brought over here. It actually says Devon requires a learned skill. Do we not have the skill? That's so weird. Devon has all the skills. For now I connected these 2 rails so the items go in like so, kind of evenly distributed. And I just figured out that I forgot to hook up the farm here, but this farm is going to be moved pretty soon, I think. But today's episode I would like to dedicate to an upgraded rocket. We will still be using the carbon dioxide module, however you gave me a way we can combine it with a bigger Spacefarer nose cone. Now one cool thing about this module is we can basically take it apart and we will be getting all the materials back. So we just tell the duplicants to remove it. Also another thing, as I suspected, the rocket port unloaders are actually just for the modules that you can put on the rockets. And then theoretically right here, yeah, look at that. We also have in and outputs for gases and liquids. And so this has become so much easier contrary to when I played this last. We are also going to remove the battery module because regeneration is going to be more important than actually storing the battery. In space we're always going to be fully exposed to the sun, so regeneration is not a problem. Like this we can actually already fit the module on top of it, so let's go ahead and do that with copper. Ooh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Then I guess we can go ahead and remove one more solar panel module. That should allow us to place a basic nose cone on top with ceramic, and that obviously is going to help us with re-entry of the atmosphere. So CO2 engine, solar panel, artifact module, Spacefarer module, and a nose cone. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. If we have a look inside of it, we have so much more space. Now I'm gonna go with a design that you suggested me that I found really intriguing for the scientific rocket. And it's just a great design that I found would fit perfectly into this ultimate science module. Let's get things started by taking apart the rocket control station that's totally in the way. First of all, let's set up the basic layout with the tiles. We're gonna need some airflow tiles here. And the suggestion was to go with mostly carpeted tiles because it makes the dupes really happy. Gonna have 2 tiles here, 1 there, and 1 here. 4 tiles up here and 4 tiles down here. However, we still need to be able to build down here, so I'm gonna finish these later. We're also gonna add a bunch of doors to be able to divide up the rooms. There are gonna be 2 doors like so, and the dupes can also stand on the doors in order to use them as a climbing mechanism. Our oxygen diffuser is gonna go to the top left side. We're then gonna go ahead and add a mess table right there. Of course, we also need some decorations, and I believe that might be something I still have to research. Decor, yeah, it would really be great to get the glass blowing. Since we have access to glass already, we get now window tiles and some nice glass plant pots. So I'm just gonna let the game run in order to discover that in the background. In the meantime, some of this stuff can already be built. Our rocket control station is gonna go to the top right now. We have the space for a refrigerator right there and then a couple of storage bins. One is gonna go here and 2 on the top. We should then also go ahead add a telescope right here. We're gonna take our orbital data lab, which is gonna go there. Within medicine, we also find the hand sanitizer, which is actually really useful because it only uses up one space in order to wash your hands instead of the usual 2 spaces. Carbon dioxide, as mentioned, has the tendency to go towards the bottom right. So here at the bottom right, we'll also install our pump that goes right there. We're also going to need a gas element sensor, add you here. And we're going to wrap everything up with a nice airflow tile there. We want to go ahead and connect this, of course. Now, what is happening here? Why is this already... Jeez, why are you filling up with chlorine? What have you done? I mean, this... Did you bring chlorine to an unbuilt hand... What? Okay, somebody has to pick up that chlorine really quickly. Okay, good to know. I had no idea this is actually possible. Okay, let's take care of the gases. We want to expel the gases we don't want directly out into space. And then at the same time, we want to create an oxygen storage that is going to start right here. So we're going to pump oxygen into the rocket from outside. And just by means of wiggling this all around the rocket, we should be capable of storing quite a bit of oxygen without having to generate our own. We still have our oxygen diffuser on board just in case. I just see we need to take a little detour. Piping through the door isn't possible. So we do something like this. I mean, in the end, it's not that important that we use up all the slots. I just want to make sure that we have a good amount of storage and so we can also remain in space for a pretty long time. This is then gonna go into a vent, also gold, just because. And there is our piping system. Before I forget, we need our wall toilet right there. The wall toilet is going to expel the liquid directly into space. So all we have to take care of is a good amount of water storage, and we're going to do it the same way with pipes. We have to start here somehow and then end up in this slot by using most of the squares. So let me just see what I can come up with here. Okay, there we go. That's actually not too shabby, I would say. We go through here and then wiggle around, go down, and finally we end up in here. And that is going to be plenty of water to poop like a month or so. Okay, now that is actually a lot to build, admittedly. But man, we're not gonna stop there. Wallpaper is gonna be next. And I want this to be kind of bluish. So we could go with oxalate, which would be kind of a waste. I think I'm just gonna do plastic. And we want to have that all over the place, please. Thank you very much. But no, we are not done here with the decorations yet. We would like to see some pictures. Oh, and a bed. I totally forgot about the bed. We need that as well. You're gonna sleep in a gold bed. Oh my gosh, they want to do the research. And of course it is a ladder bed. I'm not even sure if you can see it now with all the blueprints. But essentially it is a bed and a ladder at the same time. So they can use it to go up here to the fridge. Looking at the automation, this might spiral out of control if we activate it every time a carbon dioxide piece passes through. Then we might just end up with oxygen in the output pipe. Might just end up with way more, which then will clog it up. So instead, what we should do is set up a filter gate, which is only going to let a signal through if the green signal has been there for long enough. So let's say we put that right there, and then we start connecting things. You go here, you go, I guess, to the pump. Since we already have the cable here at the bottom, we can just do that. And then we set the filter gate to a good long while. Let's just set it to a minute or so. And if we have carbon dioxide right here for a full minute, then we can presume this is a full tile and the pump is not gonna catch any oxygen. Yeah, look at that. I actually kind of like it. It is a little bit cheesy blue, but what you gonna do? Also, we need to go back into research because I need access to blank canvases. Yeah, at least the first research here I would like to do, fine art. And I guess now I'm just gonna wait, let the duplicants finish a bunch of these. Hold on, maybe one more thing we can do is the power. We certainly need power wires. And we get away with using less than 1K, which is good. So we're just gonna connect everything. Though, how much is this gonna use? We're gonna have our power input right here. So I guess it's best to just move over like so. So a power outlet fitting is what I wanted to have here to actually get the power in here from our solar panel. The situation got a little bit out of control with the chlorine because my dupes kept dropping very hot materials on the floor and then everything just started melting and I ended up disabling the entire module and starting from scratch, so now we have a vacuum. The bottom storage near the collection lab is going to be filled with plastics. Then we need some algae as well for the oxygen diffuser, so that's what we're going to store here. And lastly, we're going to need some bleach stone, for instance. On the outside, I already made some preparations in order to actually bring in the oxygen, and that is exactly what we're gonna do right now. I also added a vent section right there. Whenever we land, we can actually vent out the gases. So now this should be filling up inside of the rocket. Wonderful. And then we're gonna fill this entire thing with plenty of oxygen. As a matter of fact, we want full pressure, so once we set up the chlorine here, it is not gonna off-gas. Also, we now have access to everything. I did unlock the aero pod that we're gonna build out of glass right there. And then we also get access to paintings, one of which we could set up right here, for instance, and then 2 more on the top for more decorations. And apart from the hand sanitizer, this is probably everything we have to build. Of course, we also want to get some water in the joint. We do have access to water right here. I'm gonna input that, and then we're also gonna make a chute to expel waste liquids. Though actually for this one we don't need it because we haven't even hooked up anything. Another thing I noticed, of course, we cannot really use the artifact module for this one because we're always gonna need at least 120 watts. Sometimes for the refrigerator, sometimes for the telescope. One of the solar panels here is producing 60 watts. That means we need to get rid of the artifact module and exchange it, or we just swap it right away with a solar panel module. Water is flowing as well. That's good to see. That should be plenty of backup for a bunch of poops. We now also have full pressure in here, which means we're gonna go for the hand sanitizer right there. And we can even store a little bit of bleach stone here, which I will have to do at a high priority. Maybe 9 isn't even gonna do. Yeah, my main storage here has priority 8. Let me put that back down to 7. And then we don't have any other storages yet. So that bleach stone should now be brought over. We can see Otto is already taking care of the master works, and if I'm not mistaken, I already gave him the maximum skill. Yeah, there we go. He's at maximum, so it's gonna be a really good picture. What are you gonna paint for us today? Great, now we have almost everything in place. I mean, the pictures are horrifying, but checking out the decor values, it's pretty good, and whenever they stand on carpet, they just keep on smiling, no matter how miserable they are. Okay, this is amazing, and temperatures are fine for the time being. We just have to set up the gas element sensor. We want to detect carbon dioxide. And as for the filter gate, I'm just gonna set it to 200 seconds. So whenever we detect carbon dioxide for 200 seconds in here, then we're gonna activate the pump until we don't detect it anymore. Though I guess we're also gonna need a briar seat here. 30 degrees. Do I have something that might even be more fitting? Maybe a body butt seat, so we get some floral scent buffs. Yeah, okay, let's see what we have to clean up. Not much, but we are done. We have oxygen storage, we have water storage. We can clean off some germs, which is also gonna get rid of some rats. We should also have a bunch of rooms, namely a washroom, a mess hall, and down here, well, this one here we should technically make into a barracks. Maybe let's open up the doors. This is also gonna make it easier to navigate around. Oh my gosh! Harold just used the freaking toilet! Why would you do that? Let me disable that building as well. Holy cow, you should not use that while we're not using the rocket. Yeah, look at that! Now we have some floral scent here as well. Oh my gosh, Ellie isn't gonna wanna come back. Once she's up there, she's gone. Now we can actually start to really explore. Whenever we go into a tile, we can explore 3 more tiles away with the telescope. And so it's going to be easy to figure out the location of the second planetoid. I would say to wrap up the episode, we're going to send Ellie back into space and test out this new module. We're going to change the destination, and I want to go into this direction. So we're going to use 3 tiles to go here, discover everything. So at the same time, we want to switch to crew and Ellie. Then it looks as though we need to open these guys up. Yeah, because of the bigger diameter of the rocket. Ellie already boarded. Unreachable food. Okay, that's something I totally forgot. In the future, I want to fill this up with berry sludge, but right now we have to go with our, where is it? Gristle berries. And we're gonna do about 20 kilograms, or no, let's do 10. And there, refrigerator is full. We're gonna switch to crew and begin the launch sequence. Come on, Ellie, this needs to go quick. We need the carbon dioxide engine to actually get the initial... Are you freaking serious? Did you at least get the rocket started? Okay, she did. And now that we are in space producing 120 watts exactly, we are first taking care of the refrigerator until the food is cooled down. And then we can use either of these machines without issues. Of course, we don't want her to actually equip the suit, so that's gonna be gone, and we want to enable all the buildings again. And just to be sure, I'm gonna enable the diffuser as well. This one should only come into play when we actually go through the entirety of the oxygen, which I highly doubt. The chlorine up here is actually a problem because when she breathes out carbon dioxide, there is a little space where chlorine can actually off-gas. Yeah, and now it can like off-gas forever. Ooh, that is a huge problem. There we go, we are back in space and just look how happy Ellie is. It's time to start crafting the data banks and we're gonna go a little mayhem. Since we are not storing anything here right now, we might put some decorations here or I'm just gonna go for the data disks. And yeah, that's basically it. Now we are traveling over and hopefully soon enough we should be using the telescope as well. The question is, what are we gonna use first? I think whenever there's something to discover, we want to use the telescope, and then when there is nothing else to do, we want to use the data lab. So it looks like that's gonna be a problem with the priorities. What is this errand? Yeah, there, it is actually researching. That makes sense. So within priorities, Ellie needs to be able to do that research. Right now, rocketry has main priority. Let me just see, what is this type of errand? It's operating. So we need operating and researching at the same priorities. Operating has this priority, so we're gonna do it like so. And then after this craft, we should be seeing Ellie switching to the telescope. Looks like it is eating time first, maybe. There, we have the toilet. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. I just love this game. But I think she's doing fine at this point. The telescope is actually a problem because we are overshooting our power requirements. If we already use 20 watts for the refrigerator, then we cannot use the 120 watts for the telescope. Good, with all the observations we've made in space, I believe it's going to be best to replace this masterpiece with a smart battery to enable and disable the telescope. Now that we landed back at the rocket, we're also refilling our oxygen pipes. Looks like we actually used quite a bit more than I first anticipated. But we still have the algae reserve, so I'm not too worried. In the future, as mentioned, we want to have berry sludge, so we don't need to power the refrigerator, but for now we do not have access to that. A smart battery in the long run is probably not a good idea because it is gonna heat up the environment. However, if we manage to hook this up, we at least get the telescope running and everything is already functional. And then when we switch to berry sludge, we can exchange this again. So we're gonna need our automation output, and let me think. Sends a green signal until high threshold is reached. So we need to invert that. Let me go ahead and cut this up. We get a NOT gate going for this. There is the smart battery already being charged. Let's set it to 95%, and then the low threshold is going to be about 20%, and then we want to start charging it up again before we allow the use of the telescope. So that means the telescope is now deactivated and it's only ever going to be used when we have the amount of power required. And of course, if we use the telescope and the refrigerator at the same time, we're going to be losing 20 watts per second. But with that out of the way, I'm ready to send Ellie back into space. Let's fill the refrigerator up again. I would say we can set this to crew again, change destination, and we're gonna fly back to the same spot because we want to do some more telescoping. And begin launch sequence. Let's see this happen. Ellie, come on, come on, come on. And off you go. See ya. Great stuff. And now that we are in space, we should definitely be charging the battery. As you can see, this holds true. In the meantime, Ellie can still do the orbital data research, and the battery is still gonna charge up, even though, of course, a little bit slower. Now, Ellie, with her current priorities, is always gonna store the data disk, so I'm not really sure this is a good idea. Maybe we're just gonna leave them on the floor. Or even better, we do collect the data disks, however, we make them sweep only. Nice, and now with that out of the way, we can keep things a little bit relaxed. Hopefully the heat production isn't gonna be too crazy. That is definitely something we have to observe. I think we just reached another tile, and that means Ellie should be capable of using the telescope, which then is gonna reduce our power. However, only until 20%, and that's the amount of time we can dedicate to the telescope. Did I forget to tell you to unequip the suit? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, go back to the station, unequip the suit. The suit actually just broke. Well, that is extremely mean. I think I'm gonna give her some popped eardrums, but we're gonna empty this out. And there is some more telescoping. Which tile are you looking at? Right here. Great! Okay, I'm actually gonna wrap it up right here, so we can keep this as a cliffhanger in order to discover some stuff in space. But check this out. This is just absolutely amazing. Before you go nuts, I'm gonna enable these buildings, of course. I'm sorry, Ellie. Can you, you should, no, don't sleep. You need to poop. Maybe if we give this some unrealistic priority. Yeah, thank you very much. Whew, okay, we got that. Whew, okay, we got it covered. But yeah, there we go. With that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Have a great time and see you in the next one. Bye bye.